What's going on, everybody? Again, forgive me here. I'm not in the studio, so I'm going to be doing a few of these videos from on location, if we will. Lue Elizondo has been in the news, obviously, a lot lately with some of the accusations, other things, kind of defending himself here and there. But that's not what today's video is about with Lue. There has been a couple different reports, and that we've talked about on this channel, that I think Ross Coulthart or somebody else reported that there is a plan that President Trump had put together that says that they're going to start shooting down UAPs to try to bypass what some of these legacy programs are doing and the deep state is doing, and just kind of get their own data by doing it this particular way. Now, when I heard that news, I said, is that the smartest plan in the world? Because if you don't necessarily really know what they are, just because they're in space and you don't really have any other additional information because you're not privy to it, no matter how powerful the office is that you are in, is that the best plan if you don't know if what you're trying to shoot down is of superior intelligence or superior technology? So I want to put together a clip here, and this is what Lue Elizondo said when he was talking about this. Now, this isn't the first time thing. This has been ideas, thoughts beforehand in general, programs that were put together. So Lue is pretty locked in and talking to a lot of different people. So whether or not he's letting his voice be known about these particular thoughts, I do not know. But this is what he said. Check it out.
Project Interloper, O-Plan, Operational Plan Interloper, was a very real plan that was being developed. And, I wouldn't be surprised if other plans very similar to that have been executed as well. What I would not recommend doing is doing something like a Project Interloper for the purposes of shooting down a UAP. Because I've been asked that before. Well, why don't we just shoot them down? That would be a mistake. That would be a provocation. It's the same reason why we don't shoot down Russian airplanes right now. They may not be our allies, but we don't want to poke the bear, no pun intended. It's really up to us. And I do think intent goes a long way.
Okay, so if this video got you even just a little bit curious about what else could be out there in the universe, I wanted to tell you where I actually go to get some of this stuff, and it's called Gaia. It's not just one documentary. It's this whole library built around exactly the questions a movie like this brings up. Disclosure, UAP stuff, ancient civilizations, consciousness, personal transformation. Basically, anywhere your curiosity wants to go, there's a way in. Now, what you do is you insert one real example you actually watched and what it did for you and how it made you feel. And it's not just trying to convince you of anything. It's more like, here's the research, here's the people who've actually looked into it, and now just go and explore it yourself. For me, it's like the consciousness angle. I'm always thinking about that. I'm always curious about it. I wanted to look more into it. So anytime there's things, the galaxy, the universe, and how that could work with as far as time and space and consciousness, and it all is fascinating to me. And the more I have more information, this is why I love Gaia. If any of that's been living rent-free in your head since this movie, Gaia is free for 7 days. Links pinned below. Go see where it takes you. Go check it out. Gaia.
All right, so as you see in that particular clip, Lue says the thing that I think a lot of people would be saying is, what are you doing? Don't do that. Don't start shooting things down. And I think he uses a good example there. You don't just start shooting Russian planes or whatever it is, even if they're not your enemy. You don't start shooting them out of the sky because you don't want to start an incident. And first of all, let's say hypothetically again, that whatever these things are, don't abide by our rules. So sure, hey, you're flying into U.S. airspace. Like, who says it's your airspace? Is how they could potentially feel about it. If it's been their airspace longer than it's been our airspace. So if they're flying through and doing what they normally do, and then they start getting shot down, that is not the best plan in the world, especially if these particular things can do the things that have been rumored. Rather than that, they can move in different ways, defy space-time, and anti-gravity and whatever it might be, is it the smartest plan in the world to start trying to shoot them down? It does remind me immediately of like Independence Day when they try to do the initial run of knocking these things down and they just get blown out of the sky. So I don't understand, and I think in the way that what Lue is talking about here is that if you go and do something like that, it does, A, come off aggressive, and as he said too, poke the bear, because what if it's one of these things like, look, we've been putting up with these things, these creatures, these humans, for too long. Now they're shooting us out of the sky? Unleash hell. You know, that's part one. But it is also baffling to me in general, as I've said many times over, that the idea that if these reports are coming out on high levels of government and people who have these credentials or had credentials or pretty much are still tied in, or potentially you have the next or the first, I guess, UAP czar, that would be Lue Elizondo if he indeed got that position. You got David Grush, who had a high level clearance and is continuously, as recently, working with Burleson and others, and has been talking on Capitol Hill and all these different things that are talking out, saying these things. And then there's these report, what Ross Coulthart says about potentially that Trump put this order to have Hegseth knock these things out of the sky if possible. And yet, at the press conferences and other things, these questions are not being asked. If there's any reporter at all that is involved and goes to these conferences and stumbles across this video, for the love of the Lord, ask a follow-up question and say, hey, this report has come out that says this. This report has come out that says this. There are rumors that says this. How about the fact that David Grush was on Capitol Hill making these particular claims? How about the fact that he was just talking to Dr. Phil making these claims? What does the government say about his claims? Lue Elizondo saying these particular things. His recommendation is not. If there is confirmation that Hegseth was approved to do this, and then you have Lue Elizondo, who is now potentially being looked upon as a UAP czar, saying not a good idea. What do you say there? Where are these questions? That's what needs to be asked. Even in a freaking interview on a podcast, for God's sakes. For the next time anybody gets any of these people on a podcast, a conversation, an interview, a sit down, a 20-minute piece, a 10-minute piece on any of the news organizations, where is this information? Because if this is indeed a directive of shooting these things down, and then the follow-up directive is, or not follow-up directive, the follow-up response on someone who has a lot of information on this, the guy who leaked a lot of the stuff to 2017 to get this article out there in general to make awareness of it, whatever the intention was, is saying, don't do this. And yet we're still doing this. What's the disconnect? I don't understand it. So I'm curious what you guys think when you hear this. Is this a horrendous idea? It's all BS idea. It's foreign countries anyway. If you see these things, shoot them down, figure out what it is. Or take this stuff seriously and don't start shooting these things down when you have people who are pretty locked in saying, don't shoot them down. So put your thoughts in there. Let me know what you think. Make sure you click like, comment, subscribe. As I said, I'm going to be doing a few of these videos from most likely this location. So put up with me for just a little bit if you can here, and I'll be back in the studio ASAP. So I'd love to get your thoughts and comments on this channel. So do it. If you haven't subscribed, do that as well. Thanks once again, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye-bye, everybody. I don't know why I did the force thing, but it works.